Hey, welcome back to the Club Junkie Podcast. I know we are a day late, but I was traveling this week and checking out a bunch of 2025 products, so I apologize for publishing this a day late, but I think we're okay. So before we get into today's episode, I just want to let you know it is brought to you by Titleist and the new GT drivers. With a driver in hand, speed alone can only take you so far. The perfect driver requires a blend of speed, launch, spin, and stability to deliver consistently impressive distance. With Titleist's new GT driver, you'll experience total driving performance on every swing. Featuring a new seamless thermoform crown design and split mass construction, GT drivers are purpose-built to optimize launch conditions at every point of impact. An enhanced speed ring and variable face thickness technologies come together to create GT's amazingly fast face. Find the center and you'll hit speeds you've never seen. Hit it anywhere else, high, low, heel, toe, and you'll find consistently impressive distance that keeps you in scoring position. Titleist offers 3 distinct GT models designed for specific categories or player types. Whether you want maximum performance, precise adjustability, and control, or the ultimate spin-killing driver, you'll find a GT model that elevates your game. Experience a generational leap in performance. Learn more about each driver model and find a fitting event near you at Titleist.com. Titleist GT, a new class of drivers. So, funny thing is, interesting enough, I was out at Titleist, and I was hitting some drivers and all that out there. So it was kind of fun. But yes, I was out in Carlsbad Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I flew back Thursday. So yeah, it was a busy, fun week. I got to see all the new stuff from Callaway, Titleist, and TaylorMade, which is pretty cool. It's unfortunate I can't talk about any of it because it was super exciting. But got to see a bunch of new stuff and stuff that will be coming out soon. So, I mean, you're not going to have to wait too long before we're going to start really seeing a lot of this 2025 stuff. I know this week early on Monday, the USGA conforming list hit a bunch. So we saw kind of crappy black and white photos of of the Ping G440, the Callaway Elite, and the Strixon ZX product. So I feel like there's one other. I feel like I was missing. There was like and Cobra was on the USGA list. So so a bunch of products there, which is exciting that we get to see them there. I know it's a bummer because we just see this like one kind of bland soul shot in black and white. But I've basically held in hand almost everything there. There's one I'm missing that I haven't actually seen. So definitely better than the pictures look. I think that's always the bummer when we see USGA conforming. Everybody gets super excited. Here's the new stuff. All right, we know the name now. We kind of have an idea of what it looks like. But the photos are always totally underwhelming. So it's a little bit bummer there. But like I said, it's not too far off that you'll start getting more of the details. We're going to start seeing these more on tour. Which is the whole reason they hit the USGA conforming list, is because, maybe somebody is going to put one in play down there this week at the Hero, or, like next week at Grant Thornton or whatever. These drivers and these clubs are going to start probably getting into players' hands, and these players are going to want to start putting them into play. So that's why you're seeing them hit the list. And I think that's good for us. We get to kind of see out there what they are, but we're not going to get the official word and details and all that for a little bit longer, but it won't be too long and we'll be able to know all the details. I'm excited. I got to hit a bunch of stuff, a bunch of new stuff, and that's always a whole lot of fun. And it's just like I said, it's a bummer I can't share anything yet, but there's some cool stories, some cool tech that I think we'll all be happy to hear about come pretty much December, November, or December and January. I mean, those are the 2 months that these things kind of all launch. So yeah, pretty exciting to see all that. And it's always fun. I mean, every time I go out there, it's always a blast. Again, when you live in Michigan, you get to go out to Carlsbad for 3 or 4 days. It's nice to go out there where it's high 60s and everybody out there is wearing like sweaters and pants. And I'm out there in like a polo and pants because 60 degrees to me feels pretty darn warm. But it's always nice to get out there, hit some balls, hit off some grass. And I mean, I got to hit balls at the Kingdom, at TaylorMade's Kingdom, Titleist TPI, and Callaway's ECPC, or Ely Callaway Performance Center. So when you get to go hit balls on places like that, it's pretty impressive because those aren't really open to the public. Even if you wanted to call up and say, hey, I want to do a fitting, whatever, I don't know that they do that much anymore there at any of those places. But all three are absolutely phenomenal ranges. They're just they're always doing improvements. They're always making them nicer. And, you know, you walk into any one of them and it's just like, it almost puts a smile on your face because you get to go hit balls in such an, you know, a perfectly manicured driving range. I mean, there's just, I don't think too many nicer driving ranges out there that you'd find nicer than those three places. So I was fortunate enough to get to hit balls out there at all of them. And it was a whole lot of fun. So it was a good week. Got home yesterday. I did my Q&A on the plane flying home, which was awesome. Thank you all for doing that Instagram Q&A. I have fun doing those every week. If you want to follow me on Instagram at Club Junkie Pod, I try to do Q&A question things every week. So ask questions. I try to answer them the best of my ability. And that was a whole lot of fun. Made the flight go by a whole lot faster. And then, back here, got home yesterday. I think I walked in my door at like 3. Went and picked up my daughter from school, and it was just like, I kind of haven't stopped since. So let's just say last night it was nice to sleep in my own bed. I was asleep instantly, and yeah, it was a good time. So, so today I've got a review on a putter. I know I've been messing with, I know every show basically has been like a putter show, but we're kind of in that waiting period for woods and drivers and irons and whatever else to come out. So there's not a whole lot of that to hit that's not new, that's new, So right now that's interesting. I've got a putter that I literally just glued up. So I think the Bettinardi Queen Bee 16 is definitely one that is going to get some time out there to see how it goes. But I've got that. I just put a different shaft in it. The boys at Fujikuro were nice enough to send me a new MC 115 firm. So just installed that into that Queen Bee 16 head. And the guys at Odyssey were nice enough to give me some heavier weights for the square-to-square jailbird. So, the square-to-square jailbird, the number 7, the double wide, they all have weights in the bottom. And I was kind of talking with them, and mine's a 35-inch is what they sent in, which is fine. I'm going to cut it down to 33. And I was like, you know what, 33, I might want it just a little bit heavier. And in that putter, interesting enough, the heel weight is significantly heavier than the toe weight. So if you go take one out in the standard 35-inch, it's a 25 and a 5. So the heel's a 25 gram, 5 gram weight in the toe. And when I pulled those out, I'm putting in a 30 and a 10, so adding another 10 grams to the head. Now, there's interesting though. They said when you add that, you could see the face close a few degrees. And I put it in there, and man, if it closed, I mean, it might have closed just a touch, but I couldn't tell you how many degrees. I mean, they were saying it could be 5 to 6. I think it's way less than that. So interesting enough, it does feel better. I like the heavier feel of that jailbird AI, that AI1 jailbird square to square head. So we'll see how that goes. I still want to cut it down. I still want to put a little shorter shaft in it to get it to 33. So we'll see how that goes. I don't know, because so interesting. Here's my dilemma. I've got a AI1 or an AI milled 8TS, which I got fit into when they launched those putters, and I really like it. I'm gonna like it. It's not been really like a true gamer, but I like the putter. But I've got an UST all-in shaft on that, and I'm thinking, do I pull that shaft out and put it into the AI1 jailbird? Now, the only thing is, I feel like there is going to be a little difference in length, because the square-to-square head, which is a post style hosel, so the shaft just slides on top of a post, just like the 8TS that I have, the 8TS milled. The only downside is that the 8TS has like a small slant neck, so it sits up just a little bit higher. The square-to-square jailbird is like straight into the bottom of the head. Like, there's not going to be a lot of space. So I think it's probably going to be maybe, I don't want to say a half inch, but it should be a minimum of 1/4 inch shorter. So I don't know. I'm going to have to measure it and see. I might have to pull it apart, kind of dry build it, see what it's going to look like, and then decide if I go with it or not, because the all-in shaft also does have like a pistol 2.0 super stroke grip on it, which I do like. I like the feel of that a little bit more than the square-to-square grip. But I could always pull the square-to-square grip off and slide it back on. So I don't know. We're going to see. That's going to be an interesting build, but I put the heavy weights in it. I do like the feel of it with those heavier weights. So I appreciate the boys from Odyssey tossing me a couple of those when I was at ACPC. And I also have, which just came out today, Today's the 5th. It's Friday. That I've got one of the Tensei greens. So if you'll see, there's a limited edition Tensei green, which is pretty much a Tensei orange. The rumors I've heard it maybe launches just a touch higher than orange, I believe, which for me is great. But yeah, there's a limited edition Tensei orange, and it was basically made for a pro out there. I believe just to have something different. Green was that their favorite color. I know his name. I just don't want to like totally butcher it. So I don't want to. It's Apple Barn Rat, and I know I'm just totally butchering his name. But it's I believe a shaft that was made for him. He kind of teased it out there a little while ago on Instagram, and I remember it showed off. And we were all kind of trying to chase it down. But there is a 1K Pro Green that's going to be a limited edition. That Mitsubishi just put out. If you go on their website, it's out there right now. So it looks pretty cool. I've got it down here. The green on it looks pretty awesome. It's pretty cool looking shaft. So it is counterbalanced, much like orange is. I believe it's got the same profile and sort of like mid handle stiffness, a firm plus mid, and then a firm tip. And then, like I said, it's low launch, low spin, but I think it is just a touch higher launching than the current orange from what I guess we understood from when it first was kind of shown out there. But online it does say it's the exact same profile as a Tensei orange. So I've got that to possibly build up and do something with, or who knows, maybe we'll give it away. But it's a very cool looking shaft. If not, you may see it on my wall behind me at some point. So yeah, but anyway, that's all I've got kind of tinkering right now. And yeah, again, a lot of stuff that we can't really talk about yet. So I think next week's show we might have a little bit more to chat about, which should be pretty exciting. I'll be traveling again next week. I get to go to another media event on Monday and Tuesday. I fly home Wednesday. So I'm going to have a busy week next week too, but we've got something new that I'll be checking out. There's a media event. It's not for an actual club, which is interesting. So it'll be fun to see something that's a little different. It's more in the tech side, I believe. But again, we'll kind of see what that looks like. But I'll be traveling again. I'll be back in Carlsbad next week as well. So back-to-back trips is always interesting. But today we're going to talk about a brand new putter that just came out. And I know a lot of people are very excited about this putter manufacturer. A lot of us have been following him for quite some time, and he's also just now announced kind of an acquisition by TaylorMade, and that is Logan Olsen. So Logan Olsen, if you're not familiar with Logan Olsen putters, kind of got a bunch of Instagram fame from posting some of the really, really nice milled putters that he was making. And a lot of people followed him. A lot of people were buying his stuff. He was getting big, and he's basically now acquired by TaylorMade. I think it's kind of the worst kept secret in golf. When we looked back a while ago on his site, if you clicked on like terms and conditions, his terms and conditions had a bunch of TaylorMade verbiage and all that in it. So everybody kind of knew it was happening. But the official announcement came out, I believe, yesterday, that they have basically partnered up. And the other part of it too is, I mean, earlier in the year we saw, Scotty Scheffler, Rory, I think we saw Nelly Korda. We saw a bunch of TaylorMade pros who all had Logan Olsen putters that they were testing out and rolling and all that. And I think Scotty actually might have won with one. So a bunch of stuff out there, like I said, kind of the worst kept secret in golf, but they are. Logan Olsen is part of kind of the TaylorMade family, and since then he's released a couple putters, the Craft Batch 1, the Craft Batch 2, and the one that is just now coming out, the Craft Batch 3 putter. So if you're watching this on YouTube, which you can see that I have that putter. They actually sent these out to media people, which was pretty interesting. I did not expect to see this thing in hand, especially when you're talking about a fairly limited edition, high-end milled putter that's not cheap. This is definitely not something I expect them to send in, but they did, and if they send it in, I'm putting with it. So we have rolled it. We've rolled it a decent amount, actually, and I've actually had it for a little while, which is pretty interesting. So it's not something that just showed up like yesterday. I've actually had it for a few weeks, and just now able to talk and show it off, talk about it, all that. But yeah, it is pretty cool. So this is the shaft, the Craft Batch 3. So he did two other ones. The first one was a very interesting, just very traditional kind of Newport 2, Answer 2 style putter. The next one was kind of more Answer Newport style with a little bit of a flow neck. So I guess you want to call it, if you're a camera guy, like a Santa Fe. I don't know what they call that in the Ping world, but the Santa Fe was kind of the model that reminded me of from Scotty. And this one is kind of really unique. It's definitely has a little different look to it. It's got a little bit of that kind of Newport one look from a dress, but the bumpers you can see, it's kind of got one singular bumper that's just kind of concave, and then it's also got kind of a unique neck on it. Overall, it kind of blends a little bit of traditional, a little bit of modern, and some really, really nice milling work. So very cool presentation when you get this thing. You open it up, and inside is a box that has some like Olsen tape that has like the little Olsen logo overall all over it. And inside the box is the putter. You, of course, have a really nice magnetic head cover that has kind of like this velour inside, and it looks really nice, has a little Olsen logo kind of all over it, and then, you know, has the Olsen wording stitched on it. So you get your head cover in there. The inside is all kind of blue and gray, and then you have this nice little like leather patch on here, or leather strap that kind of holds this little piece of paper that shows some of the kind of like hand drawings of what this putter probably started with, as like a kind of a napkin sketch type thing, and a little letter on, you know, the passion on that goes into these putters and stuff like that. But kind of cool that you get kind of this stuff. The presentation's really nice. You know, I don't know that you would actually do much with the piece of paper and this little like leather band, but it's a nice little touch. It's kind of cool. So all that stuff comes with it. And then in there also is, of course, the putter. So right out of the box, putter looks really good. I mean, I think I would expect nothing less. This is the first Olsen putter I've ever held in my hand. I know people have always asked me about, you know, have you ever rolled a Tyson Lamb or an Olsen, or, you know, any of these, you know, Mac made, any of these, you know, small boutique putter manufacturers, and really you don't, because there's just not many of the putters out there, and most of them go to collectors. But this thing has some really, really cool milling to it. I mean, I think that it's very cool when you look on the neck. It's got, you know, the milling lines, and on the inside it's got milling lines. And then when you look up into the kind of the top part of the underside of the hosel, you can kind of see the milling lines there, where it kind of makes this you know, roundish shape. But overall, some really cool milling. I mean, the face, it's very interesting, where you have up in the top heel where the little logo is, there's a different milling compared to the rest of the face. And I mean, it's just stuff that you know took some time to either set up, or to do, or to program the CNC machines to do these kind of things. So very, very cool look, very nice to it. It's just a good looking putter. The sole has even got an interesting kind of like bullet that runs about 3/4 of the sole. That is actually done to enhance CG, to make sure the center of gravity is dead center on the putter. So when you hit the center of the putter, it feels like you should be hitting the center of the putter. And then the neck is called a flummer's neck. And flummer's neck is kind of an interesting. It is kind of the combination of a flow neck and a plumber's neck. And it definitely has this little kind of curve to it, from kind of heel to toe. And instead of having basically where the shaft goes into a plumber's neck, this actually has a post that's milled onto it, that the shaft slides over a post. So it gives it kind of a clean look. Doesn't have that kind of bulge where the plumber's neck would go, a little smoother. And then also, from what they say in the description, is that this neck gives you a fuller view of the ball behind the putter. So you're not, there's no distraction, there's nothing being covered, or additional area being covered by the hosel. You're just seeing the ball behind the face for an unrestricted view. Which is pretty interesting. Flange is naked, just a small sight line on the top. The top line's pretty thin. It looks good. But the overall shape from a dress, really simple. You see the shoulders of the putter. The flange is, like I said, all one piece, kind of concave. And that thinner top line, it just all kind of works together. It's a really traditional look. You would probably, if you didn't know, you'd think you were just looking down at an Answered or Newport putter, which is different, with just a slightly different hosel. And overall, it looks really good. And I say the quality of the putter, the finish looks really nice. This is done, I believe, out of stainless steel. But overall, just a really, really nice looking putter. I think people who are big fans of Olsen and collect his stuff are going to be pretty happy with the way this thing looks. The face has some horizontal lines that go with the rest of the milling on it, and it is basically meant to put a smoother roll in the ball as well. There's kind of like a horizontal mill to go with or horizontal lines that go with kind of a vertical mill, and yeah, it kind of gives it that nice roll off the face. So really good looking putter. I think they did a really nice job with how this thing looks. Like that they went with some logos, but they didn't go crazy. I mean, it basically does say Olsen on the front, on the back, and on the sole, so you know definitely who made the putter. And then got a stepless steel shaft and a Grip Master leather grip that has the Olsen logo embroidered on it. So this is like a kind of a perforated leather with the Olsen grip or Olsen logo or name put on there. It's got a little bit of a pistol shape. You can see this little flare up at the top end. I think actually the grip is pretty nice. I like the feel of it. It's a little bit bigger than I would say a traditional grip. So it's kind of like a mid-size, but it fits in the palms well, or fits in the hands well. And that hand stitch seam down the back kind of fits in the pads of the fingers really well also. So I like the grip on it. I think it feels really good. And looking down at the putter, I like it. I do have to say the Flummer's neck to me, I don't know if it's my favorite to look at. I think it definitely has an unrestricted view. I think what Logan Olsen claims in terms of the unrestricted view, I think it definitely does that. You definitely get a good view of the ball. When the ball's behind the face, you see completely, all the ball, nothing's hidden. All that is right there. To me, it does make the putter look a little flat, which I actually don't mind. I mean, I'm a shorter player. I typically actually play a slightly flatter putter in terms of lie angle. From everything I've ever been fit into, it's been a little bit flat or standard. And this definitely gives it what I think is a little bit flatter look to me. At least my eye look at it, and it feels like the putter sits down just a little bit flat, but it sits well behind the ball, and looks good. The alignment on it is short. I would prefer something a little bit longer in terms of alignment, like something on the flange that actually allows me to kind of use a little bit more of the line, but it's not too bad. The looks and all that, really, really good. So rolling the ball, I think rolling the ball is really, it has a good, solid feel to it. The feel on this thing is solid. It's definitely soft. I know I just reviewed the Kevin Burns putter. It's probably just a touch firmer than that, but I would say they both have a nice kind of knock to the ball when it leaves. It's not clicky in a sense, which is interesting. It's got just a touch of firmness when the ball makes contact. It starts rolling, but it's more of a knock sound than like a click. It's definitely lower pitched, lower toned, and hitting the ball dead center you're left with just a nice solid feel to it. And even though there is so much milling on the face that typically softens it up, you still get some good responsiveness, and you're going to know where you made contact on the face. It's going to tell you to your hands how that, in terms of feel and sound a little bit, what that ball does. But but sound and feel really good. It's definitely a soft putter. You're going to notice that immediately, whether you're using something firmer like a Pro V1X or you're using a little bit softer ball. Both are going to feel soft. They're both going to have a little bit more muted sound to them. You're not going to any. There's no real metallic. There's no high pitched tings. There's nothing really high pitched. Everything's kind of a lower, muted sound, a little bit like kind of the Kevin Burns putter that I reviewed just a little bit ago. Rolling the ball is really good. It comes off fast. There seems to be some decent topspin, very, very minimal skidding or hopping, anything like that. The ball comes off, makes a pretty instant roll. Not as good or as fast as, say, like a true roll insert that TaylorMade typically uses. It's definitely not anything like that, but it does come off probably just a little bit faster than that Kevin Burns putter. The Burns putter to me is kind of like the standard of what it comes off. I would almost, some people might even consider it slightly slow. This, I would say, is a little bit faster than that. Not crazy, anything like that, but it becomes a good forward tumble on the ball. The ball starts rolling, and it rolls really smoothly. On this new putting mat I've been messing with, that I've said before, it's really kind of loud, the plastic on it when the ball rolls. Like, you can hear it, and you can hear it skid, you can hear it hop, you can really hear the ball do everything just by being in a basement and being that material. And this one here, again, maybe just a touch of a little bit of a hop, and the skidding is pretty minimal. Like I said, it's not forward roll fast. So if you're used to playing something like a true roll insert, this is probably going to come off a little bit slow, but it definitely comes off really smooth and really nice. When you miss it off the toe, miss it off the heel a little bit, you still don't get really a click. The sound gets a little bit louder. That knock gets just a little bit louder, and you can kind of feel just a touch more vibration to the hands. It's just a little firmer feeling when you catch it out on the toe or in the heel. That center, that center of gravity that they talked about, putting the center of gravity in the center. I think, they definitely feels where that line is where you should hit it. And it feels the best when you hit it there. When you go outside that, you'll get that slightly more vibration, slightly louder sound. But overall, the feel is still really good and really solid on both. So I think field players will like that they're not getting anything harsh, but they're still getting the feedback that, hey, you did catch it a little off the toe, and to kind of adjust the swing for the next shot or next putt. But the overall performance is good. I think speed control, as I said, this thing isn't super fast, but it is good and it is consistent. I think all kind of the most milled putters, depending on maybe a few that's got some interesting faces, most of them have really good distance control. And whether you're putting indoors on the mat or you're outside on the putting green, actually hitting some longer putts, this thing here, speed control, is extremely predictable, really easy, and I don't think you're going to find a spot on the face that's going to cause that ball to really jump and go far or kind of come up way short. You're going to have really predictable speed control. So distance control is no problem at all. It's easy to do. And then, in terms of actual putting, in terms of forgiveness, I mean, it is just a blade putter. So there's not a ton of tech into that thing other than, them making that bullet sole to get the CG right. So, balls hit on the out on the toe a little bit or out on the heel a little bit, they'll be slightly offline and may come up just a touch short depending on, your type of putting. If you're aggressive, you may not notice that so much. I tend to be a little bit more on the conservative side, a little bit more on the timid side. So I typically see those balls come up a little bit shorter on mishits. Nothing drastic, nothing crazy, but you will notice maybe just a slight loss in that distance. And like I said, forgiveness wise, there's not a ton of mass there. I mean, most of it's to the outside, but it's not like a crazy stable mallet. So you do need to keep it a little bit closer to center. You will see that ball kind of, leak offline just a little bit more when you hit it off the toe or hit it off the heel. Really good. It definitely has some toe hang to it. I think they said the toe hang on this putter for the specs is something like, what was it? It's like 63 degrees. So if you're looking at them, watching this on YouTube, I'm kind of holding this, just resting it on my hands, and you can see that it hangs down to pretty much, I'd say 4:30, maybe 5 o'clock on there, and it's got some definite toe hang. It's got a little more toe hang than I typically find success with in my putters. Most of the time, I like something that's got just a little bit less. And I did notice for me, I putted extremely well on my mat. I was, down here I can kind of make everything. And then out on the green, and I think down here I'm also, you're a little bit more aggressive because, you're just putting on a mat. Out on the putting green, definitely, it wasn't the putter that I sank everything. It wasn't bad. It's not anything like that. I think for me, just a little bit too much toe hang. So, trying to get it squared up at impact just was a little bit more work for me than some other players. I have a little bit of arc in my stroke, not too much. I guess I am still that person who kind of has that belief. And, if you got a lot of arc in your stroke, you have a little bit more toe hang, and that could match up well. But this one here, I just felt like I was kind of missing everything a little bit to the left. And I don't know if I was purposely trying to square it up at impact. But out there on the putting green, I was a little bit left with everything. But I think for the right player, this putter works perfectly. I don't think that has anything to do with the design of the putter by any means. It is, a really, really nice, milled putter. Feels good. I do have to say the steel shaft on this thing is pretty firm. It's not too soft. I know a lot of I always rag on companies for these cheap flexible steel shafts. This one here is actually fairly stiff. So when you putt with it, it doesn't have a whole lot of waggle or anything like that to it. It's got a little stiffness. That you can kind of feel where the putter head is throughout the whole stroke. And as I said, I like the feel of the Olsen grip on here. While not using it in the true summer heat or anything like that, it's definitely has been cooler as I've used this putter. But out even on the practice green, hitting longer putts with it, it just feels comfortable in the hands. I don't feel like I'm using too much grip pressure. I kind of do like the size, it's like that slightly mid-sized grip, and it does feel good in the hands. it just it doesn't, it's not too small where you got to like crank down on it, but it's also not too big where those feel players are going to feel like they lose that vibration, that feel. And the leather seems to be really, really nice. So the perforations feel good. They've got just that little bit of traction added to it, which is pretty nice. So overall, a super nice putter. I know that there's actually, I'm on here like, their site. I have like just to have the specs up and stuff like that. And if you're wondering, it is 2.5 degrees of loft, 70-degree lie angle is the stock portion of it. You can order it with some other ones. They're only making it right-handed, unfortunately. Sorry for you lefties. But it looks like you can still buy one. So it looks like you can still get one. And it looks like you can still edit stuff in terms of the shaft length and the grip color and all that. So that part of it is pretty cool. So if you go to Logan Olson Putters, so it's LOGANOLSON, so Logan Olson Putters, you can go on there, check out the Craft Batch 3. There was also a 1 and a 2, but they're sold out. The 3 is actually still available, which I'm kind of shocked. I thought this would have sold out pretty much instantly. So, but it looks like you can still get one, which is kind of cool. So if you do want one of these, they definitely have them. And yeah, it's a really solid putter. So check out more, like I said, at loganolsonputters.com. I know they'll probably be coming out with more stuff. We're probably going to see more tour prototypes from Logan and his team, but a really, really nice putter. And glad I got to putt with it because it's the first time I've gotten to roll one of his putters. So good sound and feel, really nice milling to it, really nice finishes, all that. Just overall, really nice putter. So good job to him and his team. And, hopefully you'll be able to get your hands on a putter of his and give it a try because it's definitely worth trying. It's pretty cool. So that is the Logan Olson Craft Batch number 3. But yeah, definitely a really solid putter. Classic looks, really nice design, really nice milling, all that. Just overall, a really solid putter. So I know it's a little bit of short an episode, but that's what I'm going to roll with today because I know I'm kind of late getting this out. So hopefully maybe next week we'll have a little more traditional episode there. Hopefully we'll have maybe an item or two that we can talk about that is newer, but we'll see. So that's all I've got. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like, subscribe, all that. Really appreciate it. Wherever you're listening to this podcast, please like, subscribe, 5-star, whatever the heck it is. Greatly appreciate it. And then please, if you want to, follow me on Instagram. Would love to kind of keep doing more Q&As and all sorts of stuff. So at Club Junkie Pod is the Instagram handle. So thank you guys very much for listening. Appreciate it. Hopefully you're having a good weekend. It's getting crazy close to Christmas, man. This is crazy. I can't believe we're basically already into December, which is wild. So anyway, hopefully you guys have a good one. We'll talk next week.